Welcome back to the Oaki Show, you beautiful people. Now today, we of course are talking about the Ottawa Senators and who their worst contract is. But first, yes, I know. I'm wearing a Capital shirt, but it's the Capital Canada, so it makes sense. Get it? Anyways, I gotta preface this video with saying, for the Senators, I don't know if I have a true following yet, but if I do, you might have realized that I skipped over the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? And that's because I looked at their whole contract list for a day, and it drove me nuts, and I finally was like, screw it! They don't have a bad deal. And if they do, they only have one, and I can't justify naming any others. So for the Ottawa Senators, I kind of contemplated that, but they have at least one bad deal and a couple that I could talk about. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead with it. Sure, I can say something about some of these deals, and really they only have one bad deal in my mind, and that is Nikita Zaitsev. So Nikita Zaitsev, he was signed to a 7-year contract with the Maple Leafs and was traded to the Ottawa Senators halfway through it, and now this last season he has 11 points, and he's already 30 years old. He's only got 2 years left, though, so it's really not that bad. It's for $4.5 million, and especially for a team like the Senators, when they don't, especially in the last few years until now, they didn't really need the contract space, and now that they're finally getting a good team together, they finally might need it. And I've always said that the Senators, their biggest problem is their defensive core. And for me, a guy like Zaitsev, he's one of those type of players that every team kind of has, or every team brings in every season. Every season, it seems like teams bring in that one defenseman that is always around the league. They're always not really a name, but everyone knows who they are, but they don't do anything. Guys let's just say Mike Riley is the best example I can think of. Just kind of who cares defenseman, and that's kind of what the whole Ottawa Senators defense is, other than one guy down here, but I'll get to him. So Zaitsev, to me, I mean, it's $4.5 million. It is an overpayment, but the thing is, it's only for 2 years left, and for 11 points, and he's kind of just he's not really an offensive productions defenseman either. He's kind of more a defensive guy. So I feel like for me personally, it's not really a bad contract, because the Senators for the past few years aren't meant to be good. Now they're finally turning a leaf, and I think they can be good. But it's really not it is a bad deal, but it's not a deal that's hurting the team yet, and especially a team that doesn't really have a lot of aspirations the last few years while he's been on the team. So for me, it's he's done his job, and he was never meant to be good. Look, 17, 12, 14, 13, 36 points was his best season. He's meant to just play good defense, and especially on a team like the Senators, where it's not meant to be superstar offensively. He's just supposed to say he's a solid defenseman, and that's what he does. He's good at his job, and I can't it is an overpayment. I would say he's probably worth more $1 to $2 million, but really, it's not hurting the team what he's getting paid. So for me, it's whatever. But a contract that I could see ending horribly for them, but not really, is Claude Giroux. Now, I've always liked Claude Giroux, but he's 34 now. So he's up there in age, and he's already showing signs that he's falling off. So his best season a few years ago, 4 years ago, well, I guess depending on how you look at it, 5 years ago now, was 102 points. But since then, he's gone down to 85, then to 53, now to 43. Now, last season, he had a little bit of a bounce back between the Flyers and the Panthers, and he had 65 points between the Philadelphia and the Florida. So he's already 34. He's signed till 2025, so he's got 3 years left for $6.5 million. And for me, I liked the move, but for Claude Giroux, he's already showing signs of decline. And I like what the Senators are doing. I like where they're moving towards, and I like how who they brought in this season and who they're keeping around, who they're signing. I like what they're doing, and I like Claude Giroux. I like that they're bringing in a veteran, because I've always said the young guys need that veteran who's already established to raise those guys up, to give them a boost. And I think Claude Giroux is a great move for them. But for the next 3 years, especially as guys like Tim Stützle's coming into his own form, Brady Tkachuk is coming into his own form. Guys like Batherson, those guys are going to come into form in the next few years and are going to be those legitimate guys to overtake guys like Giroux. But for me, I feel for Giroux, it's already kind of too... I don't know. I like this deal. But for this year, but for the last 2 years of it, I feel like it could be like Giroux might become a huge overpaid fourth liner, you know? And I hate saying that, but it's just showing, like, he had 102, 83, 53, 43. And between it took him going on the Panthers to get, if he was on the Flyers still, he was still in, like, the 40 zone. He had, like, 20-something points with the Panthers. So, like, he got a lot of points with the team that can score the most goals last season. So, for a team like for the Senators, I feel like it's kind of a mixed bag because he is going to go there, and I do think he's going to get less points than 65 just because he's on the Senators and he's not going to have the support that he did on Florida. And I guess he did pretty good at what he had with Philadelphia, and he has going to. I don't know. It's kind of a weird contract for me. For me personally, I like the move for the Senators, but I feel like over time, maybe not this year. Not is going to be fine. This year will be fine, but I don't really see him getting to 65 points again. I see him getting exactly to 65 points again. I don't think we're going to see him get to like the 80s or 90s. I think 65 to 70s will be good for Claude Giroux. So I like this move. I don't like it. It's just weird. I like it now, and I like it like next season, but the last year, that $6.5 million for the old guy who's already showing signs of digression, especially with all those young guys coming up, like guys that need to be further signed for the future. I think guys like Drake Batherson's deal are coming up soon or something like that. So as these contracts are coming to needing re-signing or whatever, Claude Giroux might be taking up a lot of space there. 6.5 is a lot of space, a lot of cap. So it's a mixed bag for me when it comes to Giroux's deal. But then we move on to a contract that I've always kind of been confused by. Now, I know Thomas Chabot is a good defenseman. I know that. I know that he is a good defenseman. But is he really worth $8 million till 2028? Is that really what he's worth? I personally do not think he is worth that. He signed for 6 more years. Yeah, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah, 6 more years with the Ottawa Senators. And he's been he is the backbone of their defense for a long time. But for me, I just don't buy into it. 38 points last year. His career best was 55 points, which, I mean, I know Chabot isn't really like a super like offensive production defenseman, right? But if you're going to be paid $8 million as a defenseman, you got to have some sort of offensive growth. And for me, he's just gone downhill from his best season. And now he's at 38 points. He is only 25 years old, so it's not like he's old and he's whatever. But for 6 more years of this, and I guess it's just, for me personally, I don't think he's worth $8 million. I would say he's probably like a $5 to $6 million player. I like Chabot. I definitely don't think he's a bad defenseman. But for $8 million for 6 more years, it's just hard for me to believe. Because for me personally, like guys like Moritz Seider, like that is a superstar defenseman on a team. Like, winners find ways to win, losers find ways to lose. And Chabot is not finding ways to be a great defenseman, for me personally. And I'm sure people won't agree with what I have to say about him. But for me personally, Chabot has never really bought me in to what he's bringing to the team, and especially worth $8 million. He's just never enticed me with that type of money. Guys like, I don't know. He's just not doing anything for me. Chabot is just doing absolutely nothing for me, and that's just what I have to say about that. But so for me, I guess you have to give the worst deal to Nikita Zaitsev, but it's only for 2 more years, and it's really not that big of a bad deal. You know, it's really not that bad of a contract. So Zaitsev, I guess, has the worst deal on the Senators, but really it's not that bad. The Senators are doing pretty okay when it comes to contracts. So that's all I have to say about the Ottawa Senators and their contract situation. So if you like this video, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a like, not a dislike, but go down below to the comment section and tell me how stupid I am. Tell me how stupid I am. Tell me down below how absolute idiot I am in this and how wrong I am about Thomas Chabot and whatever else I have to say. But tell me all that down below, and until next time, I've been your dapperly dressed host. There we go. Owen, too sweet. I hope you're having an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.